Hello. Oh, camera 3 died. There we are. Hey, how's everybody doing? Can you hear me? Tell me, can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. I can, in fact. Welcome to another Monday night creator chat if you're on the live stream, which you are, because that's the only thing that exists right now. Um, if you don't know, later on, I take the Monday night live stream creator chat that we're doing right now, and I turn it into a audio podcast called Do the Thing. So if you're listening to that, welcome to Do the Thing, but you are in the future. I wonder what it's like in the future. And then I also sometimes cut up this video and I make animations out of it or do extra YouTube videos so I can show the cat, that kind of stuff. But I'm so glad that you're here. I have a lot of feedback from folks and I appreciate it. I have a lot of private messages and stuff like that. So I appreciate it. Once again, I will take your comments and I will anonymize them so no one's going to know what you asked or who you are, because I think you can be more honest that way. And I'll do my best to get answers from y'all and to share whatever experiences I may have that may or may not be helpful. Um, I think I'm going to skip going live on Instagram at the moment, mostly because my phone battery is dead and I want to stay focused on everybody that's here. So, hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? How's your week? Is it good? Is it crazy? Are my glasses smudgy? Yes, they are. Take a look at the cat while I clean them. Okay. If you haven't seen this setup before, by the way, this is the camera where I go, "Hey, let's go to camera 1 and let's get serious. Let's talk about creativity and blah blah blah." And yeah, but usually we're over here. Okay. Welcome everybody. Wow, good room today. All right. Fantastic. Okay. So some quick follow-up for this week. I won't go into this because I'm gonna make a whole video about it later. But yeah, Apple did a whole bunch of announcements. So look for some videos about that this week. I have a weird take on the Apple headset that might not be the take that you expect me to have about it. So I'm working on a video about that. So that's going to kind of consume my week, in addition to some other stuff that's going on. But here we are. Look at all these cool people here. All right, great. Okay, let's jump right into it. I had enough stuff that I sort of had to break things down into some categories. We've got just some general feedback, just some thoughts that aren't questions that you had, and I'll share those. And we've got some really good questions. I have too many questions to cover tonight, but a lot of the questions that I do have, some of them I've noticed kind of condense into some related themes. Um, so we'll get to those. That'll be kind of cool. Uh, yeah, Apple Vision. Yikes, I agree. I'm excited about it, but I am worried if that's our future. Okay, anyway. And then we have our last thing we have is our penultimate thing is some actionable advice that you have submitted. So this isn't really like an advice show from my point of view. I don't know anything. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to give you advice or tell you what to do. But what I want to do, and I want to continue sharing things that are kind of muscular, things that actually work. So stuff that you actually do that has worked for you, or you've learned doesn't work for you. That's practical, that's real, that's actionable. Again, this isn't a fluffy advice show or like a dumb 101 hacks to you know be perfect on Pinterest. Pinterest, anyway, you know what I mean. Trying to share stuff that's real. And the last thing is, we probably will get to another day, but just some of you are putting out there some ideas of creative things that you want to try, some projects, and I'm going to let a few of those collect before I share them because it's cool to hear how different those ideas are. Okay, great. So I'm going to get started. If you have some ideas, some questions as we go, please pop them in the chat. YouTube is the only place that we're going to stream from tonight, just to keep it simple. Okay, let's see. Our first question tonight: how do you find the right collaborator? How do you find the right person to work with in a creative endeavor? So while you think on that, here's what I think. I think first you've got to know if collaboration is your game. Is that your thing? Not all artists are collaborators. And that's okay. Like there can be a lot of artistic cultures that theater comes to mind that push you to work together, and it's the ensemble, and it's a team, it's the ensemble, and that's cool. That has value, that has merit, that is valid. Sometimes the individual gets crushed in those situations. And sometimes the contributions of the individual, if that person is really leading that creative group forward in a big way, and even if that person wants to be a good team player and give to the ensemble and create something together, they might start to feel a little burned about never being recognized in a certain way how much of that heavy lifting that they did. I don't know. So you need to know first, you need to know yourself first, right? We talk about that a lot. You got to know you, you've got to be honest with who you are. So if you know that you just don't collaborate well, then um maybe don't. Unless you feel like there's like a personal growth angle there and you're like I need to like break out of my comfort zone or whatever and push myself, and I need to find someone else to collaborate, or if there's someone who's like your missing piece, right? So you might be the other way. You might be someone that loves to collaborate, right? And that can be wonderful. That can be wonderful. Again, it's hard. You've got to take a self assessment, right? And you have to think about, in my opinion, am I someone who really wants, hmm, be careful if you're seeking a collaborator. Make sure, in my opinion, that you're not just seeking someone to do the work for you. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I have this great idea. You know what? Ideas are fucking easy, but execution is fucking hard, right? Everyone has ideas. Someone's going to steal my idea. Get over that. Just get over that shit, right? No one's going to steal your idea. Someone's already done your idea. That doesn't mean you shouldn't try and do your idea because you're going to do it differently. You're going to do it your way. Um, a million people have ideas. Don't ever let that intimidate you. But the execution is hard, right? So if you're seeking a collaborator, make sure it's coming from a real place and that person is who you need and you can have something to offer them, right? Um, I mean, it can be money, but really it can be a shared experience, whatever. You've got to have something to offer them so that it's a real partnership. And then I think you're on the right footing to even start looking for a collaborator, right? That's my laying the tablecloth for that. Um, hey, Alan, what's up? Alan's gonna steal all of your ideas because he has no ideas for. Right. So that's my opinion, and I don't want to be a hard ass about it, but I just feel like execution is really hard, especially good execution. That's like a whole other level. So that might be a really great reason to find a collaborator. There's someone, just logistics, right? There's someone whose skill sets line up in a way that yours don't, and you can help each other. And it might be, what are the practical things that you can offer that person, right? And the reason I say the practical things is I feel like in arts, we have the warm and fuzzies covered. I love working with you. You love working with me. We're making something cool together, right? And where I want to keep it practical for everybody is we have to be careful when we're working with an organization, when we're collaborating with an individual, when we're hired by a company or a group. We have to be careful that we don't let the warm and fuzzies take advantage of you, right? And again, I'm not talking about stealing your ideas. I'm talking about uh, giving away so much of yourself eventually for somebody else and someone else's dream that you have lost whatever your fire was, right? So if you're looking for a collaborator, in my opinion, put yourself in their shoes first, right? Make sure you're not taking advantage of them. Um, your intentions need to be good. Your deliverables need to be as honest as as your intentions, right? If you can pay them, pay them. If you can't pay them, shout their name to the hills and give them all the credit and all the spotlight that you possibly can for their contributions. Make sure that they feel seen, right? Or do whatever else you can so that this is a real fair partnership and collaboration. Hey, Chris. So, I mean, that's kind of my opinion. And not, and I'm not trying to beat up on theater here, okay? And I'm not trying to beat up on movies, but they can both be guilty of using the glare of the spotlight, as they would say in Tuna, Texas, using the glare of the spotlight to cover a lot of sins, right? Oh, yeah, our theater has no money. We can't do this thing. Well, we get it. Theaters never have money. That's okay. Change the scope of your project or change what you can give to the contributors. Um, anyway, if you are going to collaborate, what you should look for, you should look for someone that you vibe with, someone that I think that you're really into, and someone that you can be fair to, and someone who's going to be fair to you. And then when you're on that footing, then I think you can create some really awesome shit. Um, so that's my take on that. Let me see if there's anything bubbling in the chat that I may have missed about this real quick. It's going great, Alan. It's going great, Alan. Um, oh, this is good. From okay, speaking of from the chat. Isn't it amazing how productions want us to be a part of their filmmaking family until we ask for something civil, like meals on time and scheduling the no more than 12-hour days? Okay. There was a stream where we talked about power dynamics on set and how you're there on set and you just want that job. And sometimes you endure things that from the outside, anyone who says if a person respects themselves, they wouldn't endure certain things from another individual, much less an employer, right? That power differential thing, it it plays out in film, but it plays out everywhere, right? Yeah, we talked about this, right? This actually comes from someone in the chat, so let me credit them from Chris. We talked about this, I think, on the first stream, right? You're reaching out, right, to get help that is offered to you, and you're reaching back to bring that next person along, right? If you're not that middle link of the chain, if you're not like uh, uh, if your collaboration isn't that through line where you're like trying to help the person that is kind of where you want to be, and you are like cognizant and humble enough to like accept the help and mentorship of someone who's ahead of you, right? If you're not doing that, what are you doing? We've talked about that. So Seva. If you have no power as a boom op, Alan, just get it from the Jennies, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to? Isn't that what you do? Ah, yeah, yeah, the film industry, it's wonderful, it's magical, it's like theater, but it's also like a job, and and the power differentials are real. I mean, look at all the stuff that came out, like, Me Too and the dynamic, the disparity of it's like, I don't know, there's a lot of like, there's race stuff at play and class stuff at play, right? All through society. Okay, but we're getting a little bigger. Let's bring it in. Oh, this is nice. Just like every friend wouldn't make a good roommate, not all friends are great collaborators. That is true. And you maybe sometimes you have to decide. Have you ever had this? Have you ever had this moments where there are people who are in your life and they're wonderful people and you love them, um, and maybe they talk about how they want to do something creative, right? They might have their dream project they talk about, and I see this as a cautionary tale. I don't want to ever go down this route, but I know sometimes I procrastinate, so I'm aware of that. But you have someone who, boy, this is the thing I want to do, right? and you think given the opportunity they could do it. And if you are and you find yourself in a position suddenly, or I have, uh, where you might be able to help that person. You want to reach out and say, "Hey, this is coming. You said you've always wanted to do this, and I can't like let you in every room of the house for whatever this project is, but I can get you to the front door to the doorbell, and if you walk through it, maybe we can go on this journey together." Um, and then when it comes time, they don't even make it to the porch in this metaphor. Um, and I tried that several times with people, like opportunities. I've had amazing opportunities, and I'll try to bring someone that I care about along, and there's something that will just fall through, and there's no fault on them. Like life is scary and weird, and sometimes the prospect of getting the thing that you really want or that you dream about can be so overwhelming that it's hard to take that step. It's hard to take that hand and walk through that door. Um, and for the sake of keeping those friendships and because I didn't want to keep making them feel bad for bringing them opportunities that they would find a reason to decline, I just took a step back and said, I just need to be this person's friend. And if they ever change their mind and they want to take advantage of an opportunity and they really hustle, like I'll be there. But every day that they don't, the level of you get further down that road and the level of what you can offer may change. You may be at a point where you're doing something really, really cool and they want to be there and you're like, I wish I don't have that power. I can't just bring you in that room anymore. I could bring you in 3 rooms ago, but I don't have that power. And I find myself not really wanting to have those conversations. Um and so there are times where you say you're a great friend and I want that, but I don't know that we can be creative collaborators. That is a hard day. That is a hard day. Okay, let's see. Catching up on chat. Alan, I'm glad you did not get electrocuted. From my experience, I've been thrown into a few administrative projects with someone I had never met until it was time to film. Well, that's pretty normal. I was basically given then I was basically given the responsibility of executing everything. Okay, okay, I understand. I understand. You're dealing with uh okay, and I know that all right. So I know that you're in college and um not knowing anyone until the day you film is pretty normal. That part is normal. Um, uh, and there are some projects where you may be asked to do, more than one thing. But yeah, having everyone just sort of shove everything off on you is kind of tough. All right. Shall we move on to another piece of feedback that we got? Did I share too much? Let's see. Okay. A casting director told me I'll get more work if I change my hair or my clothing or my look. However, the change they are suggesting feels less authentic to me. What should I do? I don't know. I haven't had control over my hair since I was 13, which is a dumb choice I made, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know because I can't sit here and say that like I don't stay in a certain lane because I feel like that's where I'll be cast best out of. I had a conversation once with my agent. I said, "Hey, I'd like to lose like 30 pounds," and they said, "Don't you worry about it, honey. You go ahead and lose all the weight you want because this won't change." But I think about SL, and she's always wanted to like be able to have cool hair and like do cool colors and that kind of stuff, and she's like, I just can't." Is that just the price of admission? I don't know, but we're talking about changing your look. We're talking like a John Cougar Mellencamp scenario, aren't we? You sound cool if you're John Cougar. Um, I don't think that's gonna fly anymore. You know, I think Look, authenticity is definitely like the most overused word of the past 10 years, but I do feel like for better or for worse, which is tough as an actor, right? Um, this is kind of what I am. So I'm kind of lucky that the things I book are kind of what I am. I noticed when I kind of quit, not quit trying, but when I stopped, when I stopped shaving and I let my hair grow out and that kind of stuff, and it's just like fuck it, I started booking a lot more. But that was me being moving towards being more authentic. But if I were asked to go back and cut my hair short and lose the beard, which case I'd look like a cherubim, um, and all this other kind of stuff, and it didn't make me feel good, I wouldn't do it. You know what? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, because I think it would demean everything else that I'm trying to do. I would rather be successful or fail as me than as than not, because when I book the gig and I get in the room, they're gonna make me look like whatever they want. And every time I'm in hair and makeup, it's just like, "Can we do this? Can we do this?" I'm like, "Well, I'm yours, so, like, as long as I don't have another, like, conflict, like, I have to look a certain way for a different show." I'm like, "I'm yours, so let's go for it." And that's fun because then I get to be whatever it is, and they get to add that layer of, their artistry onto it. And you say, "Oh, I didn't expect this character to look this way or have this, hair, this wardrobe, whatever. I would never wear this in a million years. This is fantastic." And you get to it helps you play pretend better, I think. Anyway, no, I wouldn't change you. That's it. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I wouldn't change you. Fuck them. Fuck them. Be yourself. Because be yourself because uh your whole job is to be someone else for a living anyway. And you're going to be yourself when you walk in the room anyway. So I hope that when they see you, they have the imagination to see, and you can show this in your reel, the different kinds of parts you play. See that this is, who you could be. I don't know. If there's anyone in the room that knows better. I know there's some experience in the chat from the other side of the table. Please let me know if you're not comfortable doing that in chat. You can message me privately, and I'll try and pass it along. But I know there's some points of view from the other side of the table around. So, okay. All right, hang on. Okay, this is good. Am I an artist if I have no product to show? Related question, different but related question. When do you make things for expression and when do you make creative things for money? Okay. And a third related question. How do you find or measure success in your failures? What's going on for us that what's going on in our heads that we have such a transactional relationship with art? What are we doing? All of these questions. Capitalism, yeah. Yeah. But all these questions are transactional. And yet if we didn't have that relationship with art, the structures in society were not in place to get that to a lot of people, because even now that still takes a lot of money in theory, they tell us. It does. But and you keep passing that check, that bill to somebody else, and I can't really address the systemic stuff, right? But I am curious about why do we get so why do we like that's what it is. Like why do we get so hung up on the transaction part of it? Not even money, but like I'm happy that there's a lot of people in the room tonight. I feel better when there's this many people in the room, right? That's weird. Isn't that weird? Would I do this in an empty void? I guess I have. That's when I shoot a solo like YouTube thing, like I'm about to do this week for the freaking VR headset thing. I'm gonna be spending all week shooting a video by myself and my beautiful cat, but, um, but why? Well, okay, so I see in the chat, "Because you're an artist." Well, but what the hell does that mean? I have done this a lot for nobody, right? And it feel you know, I my friend Aaron and I, we say, you keep reaching out to the void, right? And the past couple of years, the void has started reaching back. And I can tell you that feels better when unequivocally, when people reach back and say anything, good or bad, just that they've seen whatever is the thing that you created, that does feel better. Is that transactional? Is that connection? Is that connection? Oh, just this just in from a young person, which is a good take. I feel like the transaction part of it is so emphasized because it's glorified on social media. Wh- Uh, and what you do only matters if it goes viral. Damn. How do we get there? Ah, is that our fault? Oh, damn. That's not sustainable though, right? Or if it is, are we seeing that play out right now where everyone can have that 15 seconds of fame, right? Everyone can have something go viral for like a blip, right? Well, not everyone. Everyone doesn't scale. Right now, think about how if you feel lost right now as a creator, if you feel like your audience isn't pinging back to you, or you're shouting stuff into the void and not getting anything back, and there's that hole in you, right? Think about that. At least in this room, um, it's mostly American. It's at least North American continent, and from there, it's people with internet access, and then from there, it's a lot of people with mobile phones, and in this room, it's people that are mostly English language speakers. So if it feels like that now, what about the whole rest of the world? You know, they're already here, and those that aren't here are coming, right? And that's interesting to me. Hmm, ça If you're an artist, you don't require validation. Creators may, but are they really artists? Isn't that like potato potato? Like it's a little buzzwordy to me. Creator, artist, creator, artist. Are we using the word artist too lofty, and are we using the word creator and devaluing that too much? Isn't it just someone that wants to express something? Maybe. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, right? But there are people that does Tom Buck consider himself an artist or creator? I don't know, but I love what Tom makes, right? If Tom doesn't consider himself an artist and he's got an artistic eye, I don't know. Um, I guess how you identify yourself is up to you as far as that. But I say don't be too hard on yourself. Creator, artist, if you're making stuff and you actually really want to share it, um, or even if you're making it, I guess, just for you as therapy, then you're the audience, right? Okay, great. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but I know that there are a lot of people that do want that next step of having whatever it is they make connect with somebody. Hmm. If you're an artist, you don't require validation. That sticks with me. I want to, I don't know. I want to blow open that whole mystique of the artist, and especially like the tortured artists and all that kind of stuff, because I don't think those are healthy tropes. I don't think those are healthy myths that we put in America. There are people that spend years working so hard on a project they are passionate about, and it's their life. Then an 18-year-old creates videos of herself in skimpy outfits, and it had 100, yeah, 1,000,000 followers in a couple of months. I get it, I get it, I get it. Okay. So is that where you're maybe drawing a distinction between a creator? someone who just made a thing and an artist. Okay, I get it. All right. All right. Sure, sure, sure. One step away from from world's oldest profession, eh? All right. Dear Canon M50, please stop going to sleep. All right, Alan. I hear it. I hear it. Point made. Point made. Okay. Just something to think about if you're getting super transactional with yourself. I'm making something and no one's seeing it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you're practicing in public. I'm practicing in public right now, right? Ever since the first stream, it's like I don't know. Here, let's try stuff, and it's just fun to talk to folks. So, okay, okay. Which I think does tie back into how to find and measure success in your failures. You, not to be trite about it, but I think you learn so much more when you fuck up than when you get it right. You learn a lot from when you get it right too, but I think you learn more from when you get it right because you've applied what you've learned from fucking it up last time. Right? Like, oh, okay. There's a difference between is this going to work and okay, in this scenario, I kind of think I know what I'm doing. Um, yeah. Prostitutes are still acting. They never left the business, Alan. Um, there so let I know I look, I trashed on theater early. I love theater. I'm from theater. Let me tell you something that's great about theater, especially improv, which boy will improv get you cast. Um, is being willing to fail all the time in a short span of time. Being willing to put ideas out, try them, they fall flat, right? It's very again very muscular in a way that is different than like when you're learning to play an instrument and you're not able to get the scale right or whatever. When you're up there and you're trying stuff in front of an audience and the audience immediately doesn't go for it, especially in a comedy, right? Um, and you have that real time feedback together of like, let me try this, you hated that. Let me try this, you like this. Let me try this, you're interested in this. Let me try this made you sad. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Right. If you're able to like cross that skill over into other stuff and put that kind of analytical, if you're doing if you're doing a play, especially, and you've got those two brains running, one is like you're here, you're doing your lines, you're working your thing, you're in the moment with your actor, and the other is your timing and the audience reaction and the marks you've got to hit to go along. If you can put that into other areas of your life, right? Um, I do think there's ways to transfer that skill. So trying things, being willing to fail, learning from that. Um, I think that's very powerful. Yeah. 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 Prostitutes have the best agents. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Our friend got it right. Um, okay. I love theater actors. They have to read the crowd, feel their energy, and run with it. Ever changing for the audience. In film, you do a thing and you get take after take until it's right. Yeah, but you don't know if it's right in the moment. Unless if you've not done film, uh I do encourage you to get a basic understanding of lenses and framing and stuff. Learn to read the side of the lenses. Learn to understand outside of the art and being in the moment. Learn to understand, simple things like, am I in the shot? And what's the size of the scale, the stage of the shot? Are we super far away? That kind of stuff. Because it informs different choices that you'll make. Yeah, on our side, we do it over and over. And hopefully you're in a groove and you feel like you're doing it right. Um, and hopefully the director doesn't come up to you and say, hey man, just throw it away on this take. Anyway, ça va. Okay. This is let's switch gears for just a second. This is a piece of advice from an audience member who's not in the chat at the moment. This is sort of a little outside of work. Don't get so focused on one goal that you miss out on an opportunity to learn something else you might love about the creative process. For me, it was finding out that I have an interest in the post production end of things. Everything from editing to Foley or learning about streaming, although I understand very little about the software and hardware involved. However, when I get a chance to learn about those things, I find it satisfying. Okay, hang on to that for a second because there's a related comment about survival jobs here. So the original comment, person says, "Don't get so focused on whatever it is that you think you wanna do that you don't see all these other amazing things that you could do in whatever your creative field is." And now here's the other side of it. I'm very talented, different commenter. I'm very talented in a job that feels like a pigeonhole. I really wanna work a parallel job, but feel stuck in the pigeonhole. Can I leverage the job I don't want to get the job I want? Have you ever taken a job, like a survival job, that is in a field adjacent to where you wanna be, but it's not actually what you wanna do, and every day you're so close to the thing you wanna do, but doing this other thing that it makes your heart sick? Have you experienced that? And you're not sure if the role that you're in is gonna get you to jump the creek to the role that you want, or if you're just being seen as that forever, you know? Sometimes, sometimes you feel that as like an actor and like, certain characters you get, you know, typed into, which is fine, whatever. But people have context for how you fit into their life, right? Is this nuts? Like people have like a file card in their head, like, oh, this is this person, this is what they do. YouTube's a great example. Some creators are able to have lots of different kinds of content. Some creators niche down really hard because they find that they're, rewarded in audience with that. And I can't say what's more fulfilling, but I can say whoever wherever you are in someone's life or wherever you've sort of put someone in context, your shorthand for someone in your life, that's not the whole person, right? Um, which is fine because it would be like your brain would explode. If every person you meet, you think about, their family and their hopes and dreams and all sort of stuff, and you try to see everything about them, your brain would explode. I totally get it, right? But we do have to be, I think, aware of how do we help if we need to be seen differently. What are our avenues to that are strong and that are, again, sorry, I keep saying muscular, but like when you meet someone and there's a thing that you're doing and there's a related skill they have that you can tell they really want to do and they bring it up, but in this way that just kind of makes everybody feel bad, like, "Oh, I can also do this," and you're like, "I bet you can, but right now we're all doing this." Yeah, and there's a kind of person where you can be in the same situation, so it's, "Oh, hey, I can totally do this." And you're like, "Oh, well, I didn't know you could do that. That's amazing, fantastic. That's exactly what we need." Right? What's the difference in those 2? Is it the presentation? Is it being aware, when you have the thing that you do that is exactly what someone else needs, but they're just not used to you being that person that can do that? What is that? I don't know. Um, and I don't know if that makes any sense, so I'm gonna look at the chat again. Alright, catching up. Oh my goodness, okay. Things have been said. We'll talk about Twitch in a second. Sure, 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 sure. Sound has to nail it every take. Actors are having to repeatedly bare their souls on camera until the camera move is just right. Does that take anything out of it for you? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, you've said a few things, Alan. Let me catch up. Sorry. I'll pin that question. I'll come to it. Um, I want your take on this, Jeff. One thing I've said quite often now is that in recent years, I've been seeing a trend where movies are getting less about performance and more about getting the shot right. Yes, we feel like directors are scared of us and that they hide behind their monitors or that they just hate us. That happens. Not everybody feels that way, but some days it feels that way, especially younger directors. It's weird. It's weird. Maybe there's some insight that you have, by the way, on why is every, and I don't do non-union stuff anymore because I'm union now, but I remember it felt like why was every non-union commercial director, why was every commercial felt like their magnum opus? Yeah, this commercial is going to be amazing. And we're going to shoot 100 million frames a second on this Phantom on a track, and it's going to be this art piece, and blah blah blah. And we're going to fight with the client because this 15-second pre-roll is going to be art. Uh, and then TV directors maybe don't give you the time of day and just wanna go home. Is it a difference in experience level? Is it, that that commercial gig will get them to become the TV director who didn't just gets go home to their family? I don't know. I don't know. That's just my experience on my side of the table. Alright. I've seen actors nail a scene by take 3 and love their performance. Well, that's dang. Oh, you love their performance? Well, let's see. Uh But a complex dolly move wasn't filmed correctly, so it repeats until it's right. Okay, this leads you into your question. The actors have to keep nailing it. Sound has to nail it every take. Actors are having to repeatedly bare their souls on camera till the camera move is just right. Does that take anything out of it for you? Uh, it doesn't make the day worse, like because that's what I'm there to do that day. So it's great. I like getting to so I edit a lot, and so I talk to DIT and I talk to editors and I talk to those folks when I'm on set. If I'm not nerding out with sound people or whatever, but um, and I repeatedly hear from editors, uh, sometimes I wish I just had more options. So if look, I love it when we get it in a couple of takes. And like and I didn't fuck it up. That feels great. Um, but if we are doing a difficult scene and I get to do it a lot, yes, it can be tiring, but it should be because I am trying to do a lot of different things that are I'm not for the sake of being different, but like of all the possible realities that are my response to this moment or this line or this action, I would like to give that editor and myself as many colors to paint with as possible that reasonably fit in that world. I don't want to do the same thing over and over. Number one, you'll see it in my eyes and it'll be stale, right? Um, Number two, again, I'm used to doing everything by trying and failing and trying and failing. And if we're in the pocket and I know that it's just we're trying to get a camera move right, after a while, that's like a game, and that's kind of fun for me, right? Not for everybody. Like some people do get very mad, they get very tired, they get very frustrated. If it were a heavy drama, if I were because of my weight, sometimes if I'm in like a tight shirt, I feel physically awkward or uncomfortable in my body. Like I don't feel great about myself. It is harder for me to do multiple takes because I'm very self-conscious. And I'm trying not to be, but I'm a human being, right? It's why I don't take roles where like my weight would be the butt of the joke. If the character description, if I get a thing and the character name is like big guy, I will decline it. I decline the audition because if that's as far as they've thought that character through, well, fuck, what's going to happen when I get there? You know, um, that's not a character. I don't know. Which is different than, like, if it's, like, stoner guy, because at least, like, that's a thing you do rather than a thing that you just are. Do you know what I mean? I don't wanna be scenery. Um, anyway, so it just depends. It depends on the crew, depends on the set, depends on the day, depends on the role. Can be exhausting, can be like a game, can give you a chance to try stuff. Uh, if the director comes back with you, can we go back to like how you were doing it? Whatever. That's cool. Like, great. Now I know where you need me, because like, especially like, because I haven't done you know tons of weeks on a show where I'm like the lead or anything, right? So if it's a show that the first season isn't even out yet, no matter how well I read the script, I may not be in on certain elements of not just the tone of the show, but like, the style of the DP, and like Will Trent, right? I did a day on that show. I mean, like, I'm an arm, like, it doesn't matter. You don't see me, but like, I would have, if that season hadn't been out, I might not know exactly what the style of that show is, because it's got, the way they do the titles and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's nice to get a chance to do it a lot of different ways, because you may not know which way fits into the universe of that show if that show's never been released yet. All right, I'm rambling. Sorry about that. Part of TV film directors rushing has to do with locations. It has to do with money, right? Renting a space for longer, street closures, especially here in town, crew availability, etc. All present a factor in how many takes can be made. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everything comes down to time and money, right? Right. I love it when I get 4 takes to edit and the actor has given me 4 different flavors to choose from. Right, and if all the actors are experimenting you know, the within the realm of the world, right, then you can have very different energies to the scene. Because it may be that, like, this scene could totally be played with energy A, but there's another scene coming up that already kind of has energy A. When we edit, it wasn't scripted that way. The scene was actually over here, so it wasn't a problem how the actors were doing it, but we need to reshuffle it and put this scene over here. But thankfully, in this scene, the actors gave us energy B, and so now I have something good to cut with, and now I have a better way to pace the audience, right? Seba. Hmm, that's neat. My mom works for the Department of Transportation and has explained to me that it's really hard to get street closures approved for filming. It is. I bet it is. Hmm. Okay, so we were talking about structures of power and like agency and stuff. I've seen actors. This is from the chat. I've seen actors abused. A scene I did in 2019 that was written as an actor in a bathtub throwing around his power to two actors asking him for a favor. He was supposed to be in the bath the whole time, but right before take one, the director told him to start the scene stepping into the bathtub, showing his naked rear pay bump to the camera. That made it awkward for him, and he did it. I was hoping he'd say no on general principle. Damn. There are days that we want to know that you're on our side like that. Sometimes when you walk on a set, I feel like you don't know if, especially if the show's been going on for a while and everyone's super tight. Um, there's go to two, there's some drama like going on, whatever. That has nothing to do with you, but the crew is all having some fun about something that's happening on the show that day. When you spend a long time like waiting and stuff, you definitely see, and I've done it, and other actors have done it. We start to wonder, shit. I hope I'm not the problem. There's a lot of I hope that whatever's happening, even though I haven't even shot yet or whatever, like, I hope that I'm not the problem or that I'm not the joke of the day, um, for whatever reason. Like, it's this weird, like, high school politics kinda stuff. I think about the protections that we are offered with the union, and it feels like a lot of preservation of dignity, besides the very tangible, like, safe working conditions, proper pay, making sure that you can have a life, right? The fuzzier parts of it that I personally really appreciate and why I will not do a non-union commercial ever again or not do non-union work ever again, um, is the articles that try to preserve dignity. You know, you don't you don't want like a trailer or a honey wagon because you're trying to be a fancy ass, especially if you know what those are like, right? You want it because like it's fucking like raining, and I'd like to be able to like not mess up your wardrobe because then that's gonna be my fault. You know what I mean? Not mess up, whatever the hair makeup look is, because that's gonna be my fault, right? Not be cold and then go do a bad job for the thing that you hired me to do because I'm in pain and cold and my back hurts and I'm distracted and no wonder I can't remember a line, right? Um, like just basic human dignity stuff, right? And I want that for everybody. And so there are days where when it does feel better if there's an uncomfortable moment when you know that there's someone in the crew who's like, hey, like, I get it. You know, I watch new actors come on or new crew members or whatever, like, conversations, you'll see I love it when you see that person who pulls somebody aside. It's like, "Hey, I know that so and so and you've not done this before, but, like, it's okay to ask for this." Or, and it's some basic human need. Like, it's okay to go get a fruit snack from Crafty. No one wants you to be hungry. In fact, they spend a lot of money so that, like, you can get through the day. It's there as part of the job. And people just being, "Oh, I don't wanna be, an imposition. I don't wanna whatever," and giving up all that agency because they wanna be in the movie or they wanna work in the movies. That power differential, right? That's where I feel like, um, are they being a good collaborator, the industry, ça va. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is good. This is a good rebuttal, good logical rebuttal. "It's not the crew's place to speak up against things unless it's a safety concern." I understand that. We will fired really quickly if we attempt to participate in a creative decision and it's not in our job description. Okay, I get that. I get that. But I think between the lines there of let me not step out of my lane, right? And let me not lose my job. I bet somewhere between those lines is that like human being stuff, like um and again, I understand why people can't or like, if you're all the way across like set, you're not gonna run up to someone, oh, you should, whatever. But a lot of times if you're between stuff and you're hanging out, like you see it all the time, those low key conversations like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to help you out. But I never said this. Do you know what I mean? Like those happen. Those happen. Um, I did a biopic with an 8-year-old acting a scene that really happened. That's spooky. In reality, bullies tore her shirt off of an 8-year-old. Where ooh, I bet child labor had some stuff to say. On set, the director wanted to see her bareback, although her entire front was taped up. The entire crew felt very awkward about this, and it angered many of us. Yeah, yeah. They ended up cutting around it so that we saw her back briefly while she looked like she was holding her front, but on set, there were a lot of us angered that they were doing that on set. Yeah, that's ooh, that crosses some lines. Yeah. So how do we be people in this? How do we that's so tricky. How do you keep your job but be a compassionate human being? Um, but I guess that's why we have like set safety hotlines and those kinds of things, right? You know. Hmm. Yeah, that's tricky. Things get complicated fast. Sometimes you just need a chicken tendy. I agree. Sometimes you just gotta eat. All right, we probably should start to land this plane in a second here. Let me see if there's any other cool stuff. Chat, fire away while I check around to see if there is some nuggets that I missed here. Oh yeah. Okay, Tassie, this is a good perspective. I used to set up the tents and heaters. I was very grateful for a heater on Black Lightning, and such for background, and there were many that were kind and appreciated the work that we did. There were also many that were rude and demanding. Yeah, yeah, there's assholes in every job, right? Yeah, yeah, so you don't wanna be that, and that's why people get so, uh, timorous, certainly for me, "Oh, can I do this? Is it okay?" Because you don't wanna be that asshole. You don't, you really don't, at least the people that I associate with, they don't. They wanna do a good job, and they just wanna, you know, have whatever they need to be able to do the job that they're there to do. Because if they do a good job, then hopefully they can work again, you know? Um, yeah, but yeah, at all levels, there's lots of people that are just total assholes. So you do also have to protect yourself in that way too. Yeah. It's tough. That's tough. Oh, Alan, that'd be really kind. Yeah. I love Tom's work so much. Yeah, that would mean a lot to me. Thank you. Um, Let me see if there's some jewels that I missed here before we land this little chat plane. By the way, I'm just thank you so much for being here. Uh yeah, it's really nice to actually like connect and talk about this stuff. I really appreciate it. I love learning from you. Okay, let's see. Ba-da-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. Oh, I'm afraid if I grab any of these, it's going to open up a whole other can, and we are already an hour in. So I think we should. I think I've got some great stuff that I will save for next Monday. Um, y'all are so wonderful. I appreciate you so much. Let me show you the cat again to say thank you. There she is. She's been sleeping pretty well this whole time. Um, yeah, so that's gonna be Monday night creators chat for this week. I don't know. I should probably set up like an email or something, but please, message me if you have that. If you don't, I'll set up like a show email or something. Um, my name at myname.com. It's pretty easy to figure out. If you need that. But let's see. Last thing. There we go. Um, but yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. Um, I hope to be able to chat again on Monday. Um, I'll be again asking for more questions and stories and stuff that you know. This has been a fun experiment so far. Can I keep doing it every Monday forever? Who knows? But at the very least, I'm enjoying doing it right now. And there's a strike happening, and I think another one coming. So I might have some time on my hands. It's so good to see you too, Alan. So good to see everybody. I appreciate it. Okay, well that'd be it for this week. We'll chat soon. And yeah, here's the cat again.